everybody should have the LR button, blue button pressed, and the green processing button pressed on the lower left-hand side of the touchscreen. And then I'd like you to have your kick drum selected. And you all should have, kind of uniformity fader position mixing out the mains. Now, if we press the gas, you'll see some audio outputting to it. The way you mix on our consoles, and this goes back to the old iLives from 2006, it's very synonymous with one another. They're all, if you know any Allen & Heath digital console, you can pretty much walk up to any other Allen & Heath console and go, oh yeah, I can kind of figure this out. It's pretty easy. So all of our channels always have, basically a mute, a select button, and a PFL. The mute is a mute. The select button determines which channel's processing you're working on. So if you toggle a few of these, you'll see the green highlight around the bank, and you are working on the channel whose bank is illuminated green. And on the right-hand side, I know this is self-explanatory, I'll go quickly. On the right-hand side of the screen, you've got EQ, frequency, and width, and determining which frequency you're working on. You can adjust the gain, for example, and you'll see this little icon here with a parametric in miniature show that I'm actually affecting change, but what I don't see are the details. I don't know what frequency, I don't know the Q, I don't, personally, tap the parametric icon, and now we're going to get to a bigger view of things where I can actually touch a mathematic valued window. It highlights yellow, and then you run it with the universal encoder. Okay? The outer banks can be shelves, but if you know DLive and our stuff, this is kind of self-explanatory. Okay? Notice the bank view of that one channel stays put on the left-hand side of the screen. So now I can hop to something else, like the gate. Well, the gate is self-explanatory. You all know our other stuff, so this is the same thing. I do want to go down to the compressor and mention something that maybe you guys don't know about our DLives, GLDs, and other consoles. Have you ever used or heard of something called parallel compression or parallel path? Because if you look at the lower left of the window, there's a button that says parallel path, and when you activate it, so many Allen & Heath users don't know this is here. You don't even really pay attention to it. Now you can hit the wet and the dry area and do that compressed and unaffected blend. So that's kind of neat. I don't know of any other console that has that built in, but you can do that on output buses and input channels. Another great place it works is double bass. You listen to an acoustic double bass, it sounds pretty good in a room. Once you put a mic in front of it though, you hear the bang of the string and woo of you almost can't hear the notes sometimes, right? Try that. It'll tighten up the bass so you get definition out of the different tones, especially the low E's and A's, and still preserve the pop, of hitting that doghouse. So that's kind of neat. All right, so that's input channel processing. Output channel processing is not too different. If you have your main selected, we are going to go to that channel on the touch screen. You can do it one of two ways. You can swipe it over or just press the green button and it'll take you over to the last channel, and you will see that you have an output compressor, an output parametric, and an output graphic. So I'm going to show you something that maybe even DLive guys don't know, and if you do, stop me, I'll skip it. But the ability to copy and paste things really quickly is pretty phenomenal on our desks. Anyone ever drive M7s or CL5s or anything? You know how you're always going down a menu and you got to come back and go this way? It's like you're going down the hallway and you got to come back and remember the way you went. It's okay. I mean, everything's there, and if you know that workflow and have the muscle memory, it's fine. But count the number of times you're touching something to get something done. And it's voluminous. Same with Digicos. You're usually doing a lot of things to do a task. I can drop the graphic onto the deck, like most consoles and most of our consoles, and you hit that fader flip button here on the lower right hand of the touchscreen, and in red now is your scribble strip. You guys know you can do this on DLive too, right? Yep. So let's say there's this horrific EQ. Oh, wait a minute, here it is. There we go. Disco smile, right? I want to copy and paste that EQ to other mixes. Have you ever done this before? Deselect the graphic so you see it in the touchscreen here, right? So you just hit copy, tap the fader EQ button, boom. It says I've copied the parametric, right? And then I go to another mix, press and hold paste, and tap. Oops, I tapped the wrong thing. There we go. Copy, tap the EQ button. It says copy, then go to a mix, press paste. While holding paste, tap the EQ button again, boom. And if you want to hit reset, just hit reset, tap the EQ flip button again, boom. Go to the other mix, reset, boom. Other mix, reset, boom. So 1, 2, do. It's kind of my motto about our consoles. Most things I can explain and justify as being able to be done in a couple of moves. Maybe 3, maybe 1. Let's go back to input channels. Go press your kick drum. I want to copy and paste that parametric to the next few channels. So hit copy. While the kick drum is selected, tap the green in button for the parametric, like so, right? And then I press and hold paste, and I tap the select buttons of which channels I want it to go to, and you'll see in your bank view that parametric's being copied. If I want to hit reset, just hit reset and hit the green select button of those channels, and it'll zero out the channel again. If you want to copy the whole channel signal processing, hit copy, tap the green button of the kick drum. It copies digital trim all the way down, not mic pre, not aux sends or mix sends, just the processing, and then hit paste, and then tap the other channels. And it'll take the compressors, gates, and everything and paste them. And again, just a reset, like so. Now, one other thing I forgot to show you on the graphic EQ. So let's go back and select the mains, for example, and drop your graphic onto the deck by hitting the GEQ fader flip button. Notice when the frequency is not at 0, the select button de-illuminates. And you can reset it by tapping the select button. Or you can very carefully slide the fader up to that hash point that's around -10 and light it yourself, or just reset it by hitting that frequency. Anybody ever ring out wedges? You know that exercise? Remember in the old days of analog consoles and graphic EQs that were down here? Y'all had to take a knee, right? Reach up here and drive the bus into feedback and go hunt and find the frequencies. It's so easy on digital consoles now because this audio that you're seeing flicker the lights, if you've put your bus up, is RTA. So when a single frequency feedbacks, you just see that one light up and just, whoop, 3 dB down. Okay, all right. Okay, that's enough fader flip. Copying, pasting mixes. You ever done that on any of our consoles? So usually a sound guy, especially a monitor guy or somebody who's doing monitors from front of house, you want to make sure there's audio going to everybody's wedges or ears before they show up. Why? Because the first thing they're going to do is they're going to come up to that microphone and go, hey man, is this on? Is it working? Well, what's the worst thing you can do to a microphone? And the reason people do that is because into the air doesn't make a lot of sound, but when it crosses a diaphragm and gets amplified, it makes white noise. So lay people go, so they hear it, or boom, boom. Blowing across particularly a mylar membrane dynamic microphone and wrinkling it too many times will change its frequency response and sensitivity, I guarantee it. Same as spitting into it night after night in a nightclub. By the way, have you ever understood why any musician would walk up to a stinky, smelly SM58 in a nightclub and touch their lips to it while they're singing? Right? I mean, they all do it. $100, get your own.
Well, when you're used to eating a microphone, I guess it's just a habit. You know?
I couldn't, you know, really.
Jersey
Just
mic number 10.
That's right. Yeah. Smell that thing. You want to get your mouth how close to it? All right. Let's talk about copying mixes. So again, you know, you want to get something going through everybody's mix. Let's all press. By the way, you know, you press mix 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're dealing with a sends on fader world, right? So let's say that mix 1 is, you know, I want to make as a template to paste to everybody else's mixes. Well, everybody's going to want some kick drum. Everybody's probably want a little bass, acoustic, electric, maybe the lead singer and 3 background singers. And let's just copy and paste that to the other mixes. It's really fast. Copy, tap the mix that you want to copy from. Bam, let go. Let's go to mix 2 so we can watch it paste. press and hold paste, tap mix 2, boom. And now they're the same, right? The output fader may be at a different level, but the sends are identical. You don't have to go to the mix to paste to it. You can just hit paste and go boom, 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 and now they're all the same, right? If you go back to mains, I'm going to show you a cool feature on these consoles, which you probably kind of enjoy or realize on a D-Live or a GLD. We have this blue button over here called Channels to All. And what this does is it recreates the experience of having a mix button under the input channel. You remember on your D-Live when you press the mix button under an input, all your aux sends fire from it? Same thing here. I choose the kick drum, I hit Channels to All, and what you're looking at momentarily are the sends to these 12 buses. Actually 16 if I include effect sends. And it's a momentary thing, it will never latch. So who wants kick drum? You. Who wants snare? Probably no one. You know, who wants bass guitar? Well, the bass player, and no one else. So this button, that simple button that was added to the console, that Q doesn't have, makes it a real rocket ship of a monitor board. And 1.4 firmware has allowed the characteristic of the console to be in a show file state of front of house or monitors. So these could be either mains or it can be a Q bus, mono or stereo Q bus. So that's input channel processing, output channel processing. You see how to mix from an input, or you see how to mix per bus. And you can also see output processing and how to copy and paste these things, right? From a sound check and mixing the show perspective, you're pretty much up and running, would you say? Like a guest engineer, you've been talked up onto the desk. And especially if you have experience with other people's consoles, it becomes muscle memory, you know, like anything else. But again, count the amount of times you press something or go somewhere to get something done at sound check and show, and it's pretty minimal.